Hello, Vix. Thanks for joining us. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and your disability?
Yeah, so I was born premature and my health issues started then, and I didn't really get much help in my early childhood for much of anything. But in my adulthood, I've been diagnosed with fibromyalgia, hypermobility, and a whole slew of mental health issues. And so I deal with chronic physical pain, nerve pain, joint pain, muscle pain, and fatigue, stomach issues, bladder issues, a whole bunch of stuff. So I don't work. I'm a streamer and an artist, and I try to also do nails when I can. And my focus for nails is other chronically ill people and people who may not be able to access nail salons. Yeah, it's a little bit about me. Well, accessible accommodations have been pretty much impossible to find. Firstly, financially, it's really out of my price range to find anything accessible. Looking for bungalows and things like that have just been impossible because it's completely out of my price range. So I've had to make compromises and think less about the accessibility and more just about affordability. And that has actually brought me out of Toronto because nothing in Toronto is accessible or affordable. So it's been very rough. When you're looking for housing, a lot of the listings will actually say we're looking for a young working professional or something like that. And even just looking at the listings, it's like very intimidating, and I'm afraid to actually disclose my disabilities and disclose the needs that I have. There was one time where I actually was able to set up a viewing, and my chosen sibling and my husband went with me. And they were talking with the landlord first, and the landlord seemed very kind and friendly. And then once I got out with my mobility aids, the attitude shifted. And it was like, oh, well, I don't really know if this is going to work out. And sure enough, we never got called back. We never got any responses after the viewing. And so it was very disheartening. And that's what a lot of the search has been. It's just been trying to put myself out there and then being denied and rejected. And, oh, we're concerned about your safety, they'll say, but they won't actually do anything to make accommodations or to make the place any safer. I spend a lot of my time just in my apartment alone and trying to connect with online people because I can't get out of my house independently and go to visit people. It's really rough. I already deal with mental health problems already, regardless of the housing search. But when I was actually actively searching for housing, it was taking a huge toll on my mental health. I was having mental breakdowns like every day, meltdowns, and it got to a point where I actually had to get out of the house that I was living in, and I had to stay with friends for a period of time because I was just in such a dark place, and it really felt hopeless. Like I don't have anywhere to go, and what am I supposed to do? And so I had to really rely on support from my loved ones in order to survive that time. I'm really grateful for therapy that I've been through and having access to a counselor. And I was going to a few online support groups, specifically for disabled people, so that I really don't feel so alone with that. Really trying to use like video games and online community as my coping was really integral for surviving that time. I think one of the big ones basically is just being able to get in and out of the house without having to use stairs. Like if the house had a door that was wide enough to fit my mobility aids through and was on one level, that would be ideal. And then inside the house as well, being able to go into the bathroom or the kitchen or my bedroom with my mobility aids, having doors that are wide enough, flat surfaces, and things that are a bit lower, like counters that are a bit lower, and things like that that I can actually reach myself. In my place that I'm in right now, in order to go out and do groceries or to go out and do anything really, my husband has to actually take my wheelchair, fold it up, put it in the car, and then help me up the stairs. And then I have various mobility aids that I need in order to go up and down the stairs. And by the time I'm through that, I'm exhausted. So I barely have any energy to go out and enjoy what I'm doing. And then when I'm actually in my home by myself, it's actually quite difficult to use the bathroom and to use like the things that are there, like my sink. Brushing my teeth is really difficult because it's quite high up. And so I have PSW services that come and help give me a shower and help make sure that I'm safe when I'm using the bathroom. I'm constantly budgeting my energy. Like if I'm planning to have a visitor or planning to go see someone, I have to consider how much energy it's going to take to use the bathroom and how much energy it's going to take to just use the stairs and get outside. And then will I have enough energy to actually do the thing that we're planning to do? It's exhausting.
Yeah, I think builders taking into account accessible accommodations is really important, not just for people with disabilities, but also seniors and others who could use things like that, right?
Absolutely. Find your supports, because trying to go through a housing search by yourself is really rough on your mental health. So finding those who can support you, whether it's online support groups or psychiatrists, mental health professionals, loved ones, but people who are understanding and who understand your accommodation needs and can help advocate for you as well. Disabled people exist. We exist in all shapes and forms and ages. We're not just the elderly, and it would be amazing to be able to raise a family in an accessible home, to have the things that I need. And it's really disheartening to see how many of the new houses and stuff are being built with, again, stairs, and just like even to go into a house, there's so many stairs. So please consider us, because there's a lot of us out there and we need accessibility. This is not just something that we want, this is something that we need for our well-being. And it would just be amazing to be able to live as a human being and share life with each other without having to be barred at every step.